Hello there, friends and fellow writers. Last night it was announced that the basic parameters of a DGA deal were reached. I read the live responses, and about half of them were understandably very emotional, but also confrontational. There was some real anger out there at the DGA for not coming out there to be with us. The AI gain by directors was important and helpful, and the DGA avoiding a strike was important and helpful. Why? Because for the first time in a long time, the studios have now acknowledged that they need people to make stuff. Both physically, like to keep production going, and figuratively, like with the AI bits that we know so far from the DGA deal. Why did it happen? Because at a time when most TV is streaming, theatrical movies, in terms of raw profit potential, stand to account for about the lion's share, 60 to 70% of the real money chances at earnings for these studios right now. Features and profits totally fell out all through the TV streaming boom and all through COVID. But now that money is there to have again, they are going to go after it hard, especially at a time when streaming TV profitability is down. And that's not to denigrate the quality of anything we are doing out there. I'm just talking about the raw corporate profit numbers. And if theatrical is the perceived moneymaker right now, the bottom line for 95% of feature movies is financing really comes down to the director. You can talk stars and stuff all day long, but directors are the ones that studios trust to deliver the releasable goods. What'll those directors shoot, we ask? Well, there's no director I know worthy of the title who doesn't have a horde of like a little dozen scripts that they control out there, which sounds bad for us, sure, but the good part is, if they loved those scripts, they would have probably made them already, right? So I doubt they're hugely stockpiled. And even better, TV does not have a stockpile like that at all. They might write out a few months of shows that they've already got, but they are not loaded down with stuff. So I'm not very doom and gloom about what we're hearing so far. I believe that last night around midnight, we read the basic parameters of what we're going to get to, but at about a 75% rate. And when will they sit down and actually really make a deal? Well, that's going to happen right after they force majeure away all the big writer deals that they want to clear off the books. Hundreds of millions of dollars that I don't see them resisting the opportunity to erase. And AI is going to still be a sticking point. And I do think, however, that we're going to get what we need to protect ourselves. I don't think that their original response of annual meetings was in any way genuine. I think that they're just using stalling techniques until they can force majeure and then they'll come back. And yes, they're going to try to use it as a tool to drive down room size if they can. If they can. But even the top sheet beats that we're getting from the DGA deal, they seem to agree that humans can't be replaced with what we do. And that language we now know at least exists out there for one of these unions, so it must exist out there for us to get to. The DGA was always going to go first. SAG is going to be next, and we'll be after that. And then let's remember to go to bat for IATSE and the Teamsters when the time comes. However, aside from all this internally, just as a group of writers, we have one more thing that we need to grapple with, and it's in the area of TV, which so many of us love and where so many of us work exclusively. The reality of the dramatic TV biz right now is that there are two types of it. The first is the old school TV model, a traditional writer's room, traditional showrunner, several directors, most often, if not more, TV kind of the way that we think about TV. But the second is this new kind, which is driven by traditionally feature figures who are mostly directors for sure, but some of them are writers too, who are the face of the entire project. Like, I'm not going to get into auteur theory here. I love Francois Truffaut, but, don't buy into it and you get the idea. They are less adherent to a traditional writer's room, but they're almost all fans of the model, or at least ambivalent, the ones who I know and talk to. And I've run across very few who wouldn't want to have a room, but they definitely will treat rooms differently, more as an extension of their own vision than as this creative, solo creative force. These kind of series usually have one director, or in some cases one singular dominant writer or showrunner. And I don't make any value judgments. I think there's plenty of room for both types of television, and I think most of us watch and enjoy both types. But we can't let anybody mandate one writer rooms have a right to exist, because once that's encoded, there's going to be a move to make it normal for everything. And I'm one of those people who likes White Lotus and Abbott Elementary. I like a one-writer show sometimes. I like a real writer's room even more often. I think there's room for both. I think it's a big industry. I just don't think we can allow anyone to mandate that single writer rooms have a right to exist, because to me, that's the trap to fall into. So to wrap this up, I believe that we have two different kinds of TV being forced to coexist under a single set of rules right now, and that there's going to be some real growing pains as we continue to deal with that and come to terms with it. So maybe the best thing we can all do as a community is, let's remember we're all writers. We all love this stuff that we do. We all admire each other's stuff, or at the very least we say we do when we bump into each other out there in the world. So let's be kind to each other, let's be understanding. It's just like in high school. There's a lot of social levels that are going on in this business, and at least until the younger generations step up and really topple that structure, which is going to be awfully fun to watch. I'm here on YouTube weekly, normally Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We're also now producing real YouTube videos about the business of screenwriting, along with the creative how-to side. It would be really great if you could subscribe and check those out. It really helps the channel. There are also Zoom sessions with writers on a variety of practical topics, along with the live demos, and that schedule is always available at info@jhsessions.com. Thanks for your time today, and really, best of luck to us all out there.